everyone, it's Elusive here, and to celebrate Pokemon's 25th anniversary, I've gathered together some friends of mine to discuss, reminisce about, and celebrate our experiences with Pokemon. We're going to start off with our introduction, so first we're going to go with my co-host Snooze, who will be helping me out with this podcast today.
Hi, everybody. I am Snooze. I've been playing Pokemon for a long time now and really enjoy the games and excited to talk about this.
Perfect. Next up, we have Pimp Shrimp.
Oh, yeah. So my name is Spencer. People know me as Pimp Shrimp in the VGC community, and I've been playing VGC since 2012. Competitive Pokemon since like 2008. I used to have a YouTube channel back in the day. And actually just been playing Pokemon since, I think, like 5 years old.
Awesome. Thank you, Spencer. And next up, we have Primitive.
Hey, what's up? My name's Michael. I was born the same year that Pokemon came to America, and so I've pretty much been playing as long as I can remember. I started playing VGC in 2012, thanks to Pimp Shrimp and Elusive here, and it's just been a big part of my life ever since then, and I'm excited to turn 25 with Pokemon.
Awesome. Next up, we have my buddy Andrew. He's definitely the most competitive Pokemon player of the bunch, but I'll let him describe why that is.
Yeah, so I'm a very, very competitive. So I'm Elusive's childhood friend. I'm the layman of the group. I've never played competitive VGC, even though I've watched Elusive play a lot through the years. But, I think that my experience with Pokemon is pedestrian, but that doesn't mean it's not important. It's a big part of my childhood, and I really think that is a big part of a lot of people's childhoods. And, even though I didn't get super competitive in any way, it still shaped me.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And the last that we have with us here today is Diamond More Than 5.
Hey, I'm Josh Diamond, known as Diamond More Than 5 in the VGC community. Likewise, I've been playing Pokemon my whole life. So, I got that Game Boy Color Blue version and fell in love with it, and then started VGC just a few years ago because I discovered competitive, and it's been a blast, and love to keep learning and growing in this community.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. So, hey, from here on, we're just going to be talking about Pokemon. We're talking about our experiences. Again, like I said, it's really the reason why I brought Andrew here. And I know that seems funny, right? We have all these guys who play competitive Pokemon, but I wanted my buddy Andrew here because Pokemon has shaped a lot of us in a lot of different ways. And a lot of people enjoy Pokemon differently than others. There's people who play Pokemon Go, people who collect, people who just look on their childhoods fondly with it. And with it being the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, I felt like it was good to have a lot of different perspectives. And so from here on, we're just going to kind of have an open discussion about different things. And I'll kind of start off with, kind of how you were introduced to Pokemon. So, for everyone, so anyone can hop in first. But how were you introduced to Pokemon? And do you remember like your very first encounter with Pokemon in any way?
I can go first.
Remember.
Okay,
go
ahead.
Go for it.
No,
Okay,
okay, go
I
ahead.
remember that I was, I think five or six, and I was over at my cousin's house. They were watching Pokemon, and it was that episode where Bellsprout is like kicking Ash's butt, and then, Muck finally comes in and and is able to get tossed around by the Bellsprout. And I just remembered like seeing those creatures battle. It was the coolest thing in the world. So yeah.
That's actually super awesome, Diamond. Because I'll let Snooze go next because I don't want to take away from his. But my first experience also includes Bellsprout. So again, my buddy Andrew, and that's how I'm going to refer to him, is my buddy Andrew the rest of this time. I went to one of his birthday parties, and I don't remember if you remember what birthday party it was, but he couldn't have been too old. And I remember we were searching his basement for Pokemon cards, and you had to match the energy card that you found with whatever Pokemon card that you had found. And the first card that I picked up was Bellsprout. And so Bellsprout's always had an important, spot in my life because it was the first Pokemon anything that I ever owned was this little Bellsprout card and a little grass energy.
Oh yeah, I think that was like my 8th birthday. My mom went all out. Bless her heart. Bless her heart.
Sorry to cut you off, Steve.
experience with Pokemon was my cousins were really into Pokemon, and they had like the Game Boy Color and all that. And I remember just like begging for Pokemon, like a Game Boy, so that I could play Pokemon with my cousins. And I ended up getting, a Game Boy and an old copy of, I guess I say old, but like a used copy of Pokemon Silver for my birthday. And I've played it like every year, like every game, my whole life ever since.
Thanks, dude.
So my family and extended family, we used to go on vacation to a place called Palisades. It's just a big lake, and we do like camping and whatnot. And I think I was like 5 or 6 at the time. And all my cousins, they're a lot older than me, but they had a bunch of Pokemon cards, and I think that's when I was first introduced. My cousin gave me my first card, which I remember was a Ponyta. From there, that just transitioned into wanting to get a Game Boy Color. I had the yellow Game Boy with the yellow version, and also, I think I'd attribute it to my brothers because they were heavily into Pokemon, and that's kind of what got me into it as well.
Yeah, my first experience, my family were religious Saturday morning cartoon watchers. And so on the WB2, I distinctly remember like they were talking about this Pokemon for weeks. And I just remember I watched that first episode with Ash and Pikachu, and it just captured my imagination. And I was just like, whoa, it's so cool. Like, look at these cool creatures like fighting and stuff. So the anime is really where I started off.
Yeah, the anime feels like it like stands the test of time too. Like I feel like a lot of people like attribute that as a big part of it. Like people played games, people traded cards. Like there's all those kind of things. But I felt like the anime was really at least in my experience, maybe it's different for other people, was really what tied a lot of people together. And I actually started rewatching that first season just like earlier this week because right now I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I was like, well, I got to introduce my 5-month-old daughter Young, so we're watching the first season of Pokemon.
Yeah, so my first experience with Pokemon, I wouldn't even be able to remember it because, like I said, I grew up with Pokemon, making it so that me being born when Red and Blue came out, paired with the fact that my older brother was a gamer, I was playing games before I could even read. I was told that I beat the first 3 dungeons of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time before I could even read. So I've pretty much been gaming for a while, but the earliest memories I could probably think of are probably going to the anime. My parents had this thing we called the Pokemon dance, where I would pretty much just run around the living room to the Pokemon theme song, just jumping off chairs, trying to be the very best, And honestly, Pokemon's just been a thing forever. I've never not played Pokemon, I guess. It's always been there in some way or another.
That's awesome, Michael. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. No, it's like we're all introduced. I mean, again, we're all millennials, and we're all similar age ranges. I mean, I think we range from like 24 to 27, 23 to 27, somewhere in there. And it's just it's awesome to hear, people being able to remember like those first times, like, and honestly, as far as it goes for Andrew, like when I think about going to that birthday party, like I'm sure he never thought that he had created a lifelong obsession and a monster by allowing me to take that Bellsprout card. So I love hearing those stories.
Oh man, Andrew, what did you do?
I don't know. I paid for it though. I watched so many YouTube videos and battles when I wasn't that interested.
It's his fault.
So,
So the next thing I want to talk about is like, and maybe some of these things go to your first introduction, but what are some of your favorite memories playing Pokemon? And that can be, like an experience you had playing the video game or playing with somebody else, or like trading cards, whatever it is, like your favorite memories from actually playing Pokemon in any way.
So I have 2 that are both completely different. So the first one is what I would consider probably the best moments of my entire life up to this point, which is winning the 2013 Utah Regional Championships. that is something that I'll probably never forget. I have my trophy sitting right next to me on my desk right now. And I mean, for obvious reasons, I feel like that is a very memorable moment because I convinced my parents to let me go to a different state to play a video game, which then barrel rolled. I don't know if that's the right word, but we're going to say it barrel rolled into a long competitive career that I don't regret at all. And then my second favorite memory, which is relevant with the Diamond and Pearl remakes just being announced, is playing the underground little capture the flag mining little thing. I don't even remember what it's called, where you just go underground in Diamond and Pearl with your friends and you build bases and you do all these crazy fun things. That was something that I've always loved, and that's why I always really wanted a Diamond and Pearl remake so I could do that again. And hopefully it's as fun as an adult as it was as a kid, because I loved it.
Awesome, I love that. Was it called the Sinnoh Underground? I think that's all it was called, wasn't it? Or am I wrong on that?
I have no idea. I genuinely don't remember what it's called. I just remember spending a lot of time underground.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
I think the best moments that I've had in Pokemon is probably when I was younger and I didn't take it so seriously. But I think I was like 12 or 13 years old, and Elusive and I, we made a YouTube channel where we would do competitive Pokemon. It isn't how we would do it like today with like VGC, but it was more like singles oriented. We would make YouTube videos and we would try to expand our channels. And I remember one episode in specific was kind of important to me where we celebrated like our 100 subscribers. It felt like a monumental task that we had achieved. And I don't know, it was just some good times back then when it was just a little less, it was more lighthearted and just felt like there was like more potential.
You know, you listen to the music in that video because I watched it. Like again, I love Pokemon, so I go back and I watch all my old stuff. I watched that battle like I don't know about a month ago, and like you know the music is like so intense. It doesn't sound very lighthearted, but like our experiences with it definitely was.
Oh, most definitely.
I love that video you showed me, Taylor, where it's like, in a world where legendary Pokemon are more common than the not legendary ones. And then it's like, two warriors enter the stadium, and then it's like, you start playing like the theme song, and it's like,
So just to even help you like have better context. So I faced my little brother in that video, Snooze. That was filmed in Pimp Shrimp in Spencer's basement. And the narrator is my buddy Andrew that's here in this
Yep.
chat. So now it's all coming full circle for you a little bit. So that's
that's
probably
like my
all
favorite. That's like my favorite YouTube video ever.
I need to add a new one of my favorite Pokemon experiences is actually being with Pimp Shrimp and Elusive and his little brother and playing Pokemon Stadium in that same basement.
Dude, those are such good times, man.
Those were such good days. And then we'd play mini hoop basketball with like full contact. So good.
Yep.
Oh.
I think so. Like for my favorite experience, I think a lot of people talk about the summer of Pokemon Go, but when I was growing up, like I feel like my childhood was the summer of Pokemon Go. Like Pokemon was just this thing that everybody did, and like I remember distinctly like just being at like rec centers and running into kids that I didn't know, and we would just talk about like our favorite Eevee evolutions, like random strangers. Or if I went to one of my older brother's concerts and it was kind of boring, me and Jamie Cogswell would pull out the Pokemon Gold version and just like battle each other for fun. So I really think that like even it just was such a unifying kind of experience for a lot of people that it created connections. So it was just awesome.
So I'm trying to think about like my number one, right? Like my number one favorite memory. And like I think about all of it. And like I think about these little experiences that I have like in the games. Like I can remember like I rented a Pokemon Gold version from Blockbuster. Like again, that's like one of the oldest sentences. Like that like dates me super hard. Is like my mom didn't want to buy me a video game. She wanted to like have me rent one so that way like she didn't have to spend as much money. And I rented Pokemon Gold version from Blockbuster. And my first wild encounter in the game was with Entei. Because I walked into the like and I just hit continue. I didn't start a new game or anything. And I walked into the grass and I ran into Entei and like I was like, what like and you know, it ran away from me and I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, well, in my experience, if you save the game before it happens, you can just turn it off and go. And so I just turned it off and turned it back on and walked back into that patch of grass and it wasn't there. And I was so disappointed. It's one of those things that's always stuck with me. And it's not like the best memory, but it's like, to me, some of the most important parts of like my actually like playing Pokemon. And I'm sorry, guys, that's my daughter's bottle warmer going off. So it's not a fire alarm. We're just making sure that we got it all good. But are these like experiences where like I didn't know what was coming next? And I feel like in like as an adult in playing Pokemon, that a lot of that mystery is kind of gone. If I don't know something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go hop on Cerebi and figure it out, or I need to figure out what level this Pokemon learns this move at. It was just exciting to have your Pokemon learn attacks that you had no idea they could learn, and all those kind of things. And so that's a lot of my favorite memories of those little things. But one of my favorites, and honestly, like, that day I was actually very disappointed in how things kind of went down, but was going to the Colorado Springs Regional, my first Pokemon Regional in 2012 with Andrew.
Liquid Lapras.
Everybody was there.
Everybody was there. Lakewood. We were the Lakewood Lapras. That was our team name. And Primitive was there. My buddy Andrew came with. My little brother. We had like Spencer. Like we had so many people go down there. We had our buddy Jared that was there, and it was just our first time like being around people who played a lot of Pokemon, and it was just a super awesome time. It's one of those, like, again, I think kind of going to what Andrew said is connections. Like some of the best memories that we have with Pokemon are from like the connections we build with other people. Because I don't think Pokemon's as exciting just on your own. Like for me, it always provided an outlet growing up. When I needed something to play on my own, I could go play Pokemon. But it was really the connections that I built playing Pokemon that have always stuck with me the most.
Yeah, I say that winning Utah Regionals is what started my competitive career, but it was definitely that Colorado Regionals, like going and just being like, wow, this is awesome, because I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively before that, and I was just like, you go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals and people, it's just a whole different vibe, because when we went to Colorado Springs Regionals, it was just like, you could just talk to anybody, and they were just down to just talk to you about Pokemon, and it was such a different community. Like, it's the Pokemon community is really good in that, where it's really open. The competitive scene maybe has changed a little bit to be a little more cliquey recently, but definitely that Colorado Springs Regionals made Pokemon cemented even deeper in my life, because I was just like, I want to do this even more.
Awesome, man. You know, I love that. It's still just one of the best memories I have.
And then me and Spencer meeting Verlicify when he was dressed up as Shadow Lugia without knowing who he was.
Wait, so he wasn't okay, so I have a question. And so just going back to Verlicify, I always thought he was the one in Dialga. Like I just like my memory of that like interaction. I don't remember. Wasn't he the one in the Dialga outfit?
No, he was in the Lugia.
He was the Lugia? Okay, so I always get him flipped. I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah, I just remember like going back and all the Verlicify stuff happened, and then me and Spencer were just like, oh, we have a picture with Verlicify. Like, just years later. That regional
I might be recalling this. I might be recalling this wrong, but I remember just there was like a lot of drama with him and the judges or something. I don't, like, he was saying someone was cheating.
Yeah, he was talking about how he something about his Snorlax. Something.
Okay, so I remember he complained to me about it. So we'll get off this tangent real quick. But the problem is that he said he won a tournament with his Snorlax, and some like local tournament. But they didn't have like a timer on it. Like it wasn't like, since it wasn't done like officially, there wasn't like a game timer. And so like he lost every game in this. Like he was losing games in the Colorado Regional because it was going to timer, but he was using stockpile Snorlax. So it was like,
I do remember that. That's exactly what was happening. He was complaining to me and Spencer in the gift shop, the little food coffee place that was at the regional, telling us about how Timer Stall was cheap and that he was losing because timer isn't fair or something. Oh man, that was good.
Yeah.
That was such a good time.
But I mean, if we look back at the regionals then and now, they're so much different because I mean, I feel like you were the most prepared one, Elusive, going into that, and I mean, you did pretty good. But I mean, we practiced beforehand, but we didn't like prepare as if we were in like a tournament today, and we still did pretty good, which just kind of talks to like how far the game has come competitively too. People are just they put a lot more time into it, and I think it's just more because people have just like grown up and.
I think that's part of the growth of just esports in general, not even just Pokemon. Just the acceptance of competitive gaming has gone up in society, which has made playing Pokemon competitively more accepted. And plus, I feel like one thing that changed from then to now is the change from best of 1 to best of 3.
Absolutely.
But that was one thing that made it so good back then was you could just show up and it wasn't as competitive as it is now. But back in 2012, half the people there were just there to play Pokemon with only like a small subset of people being competitive, which is why I think it was such a good experience because it was just talking to people. Hey, you like Pokemon? I like Pokemon. Let's be friends. And that was that whole regional.
Right. It just goes back to all those connections. And then Diamond or
So
Snooze, you have anything that you wanna share on this topic?
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Yeah. Some of my best moments there also competitively, like I went to Santa Clara Regionals, I believe was my first regional. And I had heard a lot of like awful things about the community, frankly. And I was like, there's no way, like Pokemon is so fun. And I went to the regional and learned that my suspicions were true. Like it was such a great community. Everyone was so nice. And welcoming. I had a great time. I didn't do amazing, but I made some good friends, you know, and that's what counts.
It always is.
Mm-hmm. I remember for my first regional, it was like I remember we were on our way to like meet some family, and it was on the same day as the Utah regional, and I just told my wife, I said, "Do you mind like if I play and like when I lose 3 games, we'll just leave?" And we'll just be quick. I probably won't get very far. And then I ended up like going undefeated and winning the whole thing. And like my poor wife is pregnant and had to like stay there the whole day while I played in this regional. But I ended up winning. And then I remember Elusive congratulating and talking to the guy that got second place instead of talking to me and wanting to be my friend. And so I've been bitter about that ever since.
Yeah,
Savage.
no, that definitely that's a big deal. I agree. No, I just didn't play you, bro. I was like, yeah, that's the guy. Like I thought you were like way cool. Like I thought you were like oh, that guy's really good at Pokemon. Cause I didn't know. I was like I hadn't played competitive Pokemon forever, and I was like, dude, he's gonna think I'm like a total loser. I go talk to him. So I was talking to Kyle because Kyle I at least played during the tournaments and stuff, and like I was like, okay, we gotta have a connection. If I went up to you, I thought you were gonna be like this like pompous jerk. And try to like brush me off.
What's even funnier is like I had been to 2 PCs like these like and like 2016 was the first tournaments I ever went to. 2017 was my first regional. I had went to a PC in 2016 and then I went to another PC like right on the beginning of 2017. And even as I'm doing well in this regional, I'm having people that I literally played at these PCs come up to me and be like, "Hey, do I know you? Like, are you from Utah? Like, I don't think I've ever seen you before." And I'm like, I just remember being like, dang, like people really just like do not care who you are or like even remember that I showed up to tournaments before until I started winning this regional.
Then all of a sudden you mattered.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I mattered. And then even after I won, I was like, "Hey, does anybody want a team build?" And like everyone would just ignore me. And so finally Elusive was like, "I'll take pity on this kid who has no friends." And he was like, "I'll team build with you." And that's when we ended up making like our first teams together. And then we've been like best friends ever since.
It's been awesome. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys for sharing those. We'll start kind of getting to the end here, but want to just talk about a few more things. So if you like, and these can be pretty short, but what's like the number one most valuable thing that you feel like you've gained from playing Pokemon? And hey, if it's that like the most valuable thing you gained was your Rainbow VMAX Charizard from Shining Fates, like that's awesome. If it's something a little more, sentimental, feel free to share.
I think from playing Pokemon, just honestly, like the best thing that I got out of it is being best friends, is like finding friends like Elusive, because I really didn't have any friends like growing up. I just really kind of had Pokemon, and it wasn't until like I was an adult that like Pokemon ended up finding me like one of my best friends I've ever had. And so that to me is something really special that Pokemon's given me, is like an actual friendship with somebody and not just like being like a loner my whole life.
Yeah, I got to piggyback off of that. That would be part of my answer. Is I've met so many incredible people in my 9 years now of competitive Pokemon that, I mean, some of my most fond memories I've ever had are from Pokemon, whether that be events or if that's with chilling with you and Pimp Shrimp in his basement. It's been really good. I mean, just the connections of people have been amazing, because it's really hard in real life to connect with people on that kind of level where everything else about you might be different and you might not like anything else the same, but you like Pokemon and you like playing Pokemon, and so you can just go to these events and just like playing Pokemon. Other than that, I would say another big thing that Pokemon gave me is kind of I've always been very competitive all my life, but through Pokemon, I kind of was able to prove to like my parents and my family that it was kind of like something that I was good at, which allowed me to travel a lot more in high school, and through that, I've been to like many different states around the United States, even been outside of the country, and so like it's not only given me great friends, but it's given me like great experiences through seeing new places and just all that stuff. I mean, when you go down and think about it, it's kind of weird to think that like Pokemon has probably given me more in my life than like anything else, just from just experiences and friends.
Dang, man, that's cool. I was thinking about this, and like as I started hearing you guys describe it, I was like, oh well, now I have all these things I want to share. And so I like Snooze kind of talked about like we built friendships. Like I honestly, like, it strengthened my friendship with Spencer. Like Spencer and I had something that like helped. Like we were already great friends. I mean, because of RuneScape, and we lived near each other, and then we became practically neighbors like a few years after that. And there were all these things that we played Pokemon, and Pokemon helped strengthen our relationship. And like I met Michael because of Pokemon. I met Snooze because of Pokemon. Andrew introduced me to Pokemon. It was something that we had interested in when we were kids. Like Diamond and I, like we know each other through church stuff, but like honestly, we've reconnected because of Pokemon. Like everyone here, obviously, like in some way or another, has been connected through Pokemon. So again, those friendships and connections. One other thing that's been really good for me is it's given me a competitive outlet. So for people who don't know, like I love sports, and I played basketball all through high school. I still coach basketball. I love basketball, and I love football too, but my competitive spirit's always been in basketball. Well, then you get old and fat, and the best basketball you can play is over at the rec center, and there's not a whole lot of real competition that means anything. You can go compete, but if you win the pickup game, then you just go home and then you're just sore for work the next morning. I mean, you don't really gain a lot from it. But Pokemon provided a competitive outlet for me. And this is a little sappy, so I am sorry if I get not that you can see me, but if I get a little teary-eyed or a little choked up. So my dad passed away just about a year ago, and I believe it was March 8th or so. I may be getting the days wrong, but it was the Saturday I went to a PC, and it was I won that PC, and I was so excited because I had I had top cut just about every other event I had gone to, and I just could never finish one off. And I know that a PC is just a small tournament, but it was the first time that I ever actually top cut the PC and won the tournament. And one of the last conversations I ever had with my dad, because he passed away the next day, like the last conversation I ever had with my dad was being able to call him and talking about how I had won my first Pokemon tournament. And so that always sticks with me. It's not only like a place where I had that competitive outlet, but like that winning that tournament also was just like such a big deal for me, and something that I'll always look back on fondly.
Another thing that I guess I kind of want to add that kind of goes back to the last two questions is Pimp Shrimp Spencer has been one of my closest friends for pretty much all of high school. The reason that we met and even started talking was because we were waiting outside our gym, getting ready for gym class, and he was playing Pokemon Blue. I'm pretty sure it was Pokemon Blue.
Pokemon Silver.
No, yeah, it was Silver. I was about to say, I remember it's Silver now. He was playing Silver, and I just went up to him and I was just like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "Who'd you pick as your starter?" And we just started talking about Pokemon. That turned into years and years of hanging out. I spent the night at his house probably like 100 times. We traveled to tournaments together. We all this stuff. It all happened because we connected through Pokemon, and I think that's pretty incredible.
It creates some incredible friendships and memories, and I think more than anything, it's not. I mean, I think it's great to have like a competitive outlet and have something to like look forward to and something to be passionate about. But I think it's that conduit of being able to create friendships and memories. I don't think I have anything else to add. I think you guys nailed it right on the nail.
I mean, as someone who's never been competitive and it's never really been an outlet for my competitiveness, it is really all about those connections. And even though they might not be as tied to it, like, you know, it is something that, like, when I think about hanging out with Elusive, a lot of the times it has to deal with Pokemon. And, like, while I wasn't as into it as he was, I still cherish those moments of him, like, forcing me to watch his old battles that he, like, played. Like, you know, it was something that I wouldn't have probably done if I was by myself, but, you know, it was a good time. It was, yeah.
Awesome, man. Hey, well, we'll get close to finishing this up. This is gonna be kind of like a 3-part question that we're gonna go into here, and then I just want, and like, again, this is completely opinion. So what it is I just want to ask you guys some favorite things about your Pokemon games. Your favorite generation of Pokemon, your favorite location in any Pokemon game, and lastly, your favorite Pokemon and why. And so I'll have us go through in the order that I introduced everybody. So we'll go Snooze, Spencer, Michael, my buddy Andrew, and Diamond, and then I'll finish off from there.
Okay, so it's favorite generation, favorite location.
Yeah, so that can be a city. It can be a route, even if you want to go with a route. Or
Okay, like, and what was the last question?
Your favorite Pokemon and why.
Okay, so my favorite generation is Generation 3. Hoenn, love that place. And my favorite location is also in Generation 3. It's the Fortree City, like the routes leading up to Fortree and away from Fortree into like Lily Cove. Like I just loved like the rain and like the super tall grass and like all the little bike paths you could take to get to the different like secret bases and the berry trees. And then like as you go down past the bridge, there's like the clouds and the water reflecting. And like I just love that route like so much. And then my favorite Pokemon is like the Cyndaquil line. So Cyndaquil. And that's because it was my first starter ever. But I also really like hedgehogs. And I'm pretty sure it's like a hedgehog, like a fire hedgehog. And it's just like had a really special place in my heart ever since then. Plus, I think like the fire coming out of its back and around Typhlosion's neck is pretty sick.
It's literally super hot fire.
Yeah, it's super hot fire.
The fire is the edgelord in all of us when we're kids.
Oh, absolutely. And then like I was gonna say, like, while that's not my favorite location in a Pokemon game, if you were to be like, what's your favorite route in any Pokemon game, that's number one for me. It's like 100%. All right, next we'll go up to Spencer.
I am a Pokemon boomer, so I think Kanto's the best for me. I think it's like the stereotypical answer, but I love my Gen 1. My favorite area has to be Cinnabar Island on the edge where you can find the missing node glitch.
For some reason, I had a feeling that's what you were going to say, too.
I had the feeling that's what everyone was gonna say. So if I took your answer, I apologize for that. Favorite Pokemon, Celebi. It's cute. I don't really have any more explanation than that.
Okay, perfect. I love it. All right, Michael.
Okay. First one is favorite generation. So this one, I was trying to like decide while you guys were talking, but it has to be a two-way split for me. I can't choose. It's either Gen 3 or Gen 5. Gen 3 because that's the game that I've played the most. I've done everything in Gen 3. I've done like 30 Nuzlocks. I've speed ran it. I've completed the Pokédex. I've shiny hunted. I've done all that in Gen 3. But then Gen 5 has got like my favorite story probably, the sprites, like the sprites in Gen 5 are just my favorite. So those two kind of tie for me. I don't really know which one to pick. My favorite location will kind of go back to earlier with my memories. It's got to be the underground in Gen 4. It's so good. Just everything of just the mining, the bases, the capture the flag, the notepad things, all that is so good. And then my favorite Pokemon is Terrakion, no question. And the reason being is because right before I took Terrakion to Utah Regionals in 2013, and right before I won it, I convinced my dad to buy me this Terrakion plushie, like before round one started. And then after I won the regional with Terrakion, I led Terrakion Thunderous every single game that tournament. And ever since then, it's just been my boy. And no Pokemon has ever even come close to topping it. I would say maybe Hydreigon got kind of close in there, but Terrakion just too good.
Terrakion's awesome. I love the pick. All right, Andrew.
Favorite generation is Gen 1 because that's kind of where I started and stopped. That's it. My favorite Pokemon is Kabutops. Because Swords for Arms. Do you need to say any more than that? Scyther was a close second. And then my favorite area probably is like the Safari Zone because
I don't know why, but I knew you were like. Sorry, I don't like. I was sitting there, like, he's gonna say Safari Zone, isn't he? And I don't know why, like, it just like came to me at like right before you said it. Sorry, keep going.
Well, it's because last time I played through, I played not catching a single Pokemon, and I just spent so much time in the Safari Zone just throwing rocks at Pokemon. And for some reason, that really I thought I was really funny when I did that. So that's my favorite.
Because we were like in high school and like we were both playing through Pokemon Blue at the same time, and he committed himself to not catching any Pokemon. So like you could only get gift Pokemon, but he picked. Didn't you pick Blastoise?
Yes.
And so he couldn't teach. There were no Pokemon that he could teach cut that he couldn't catch. Like it was out of options. So the one Pokemon he caught through that whole playthrough was Oddish. And everything else.
Yeah.
All right, and now Diamond.
My favorite gen is got to be Gen 3. That's when like my cousins and I got really into Pokemon. We would like do challenges together, like similar to a Nuzlocke challenge, but you know we hadn't heard of Nuzlocke challenges. We just kind of made up things to do. So I played through that game like countless times. That's when like I first learned about EVs, and I mean I just heard that if you knocked out a bunch of Zubats, your speed would go super high. So I remembered catching Rayquaza, going over into a cave and just knocking out like a million Zubat, and like looking at my speed stat raised by 15 every level. I was like, this is the best thing in the world. And just a lot of cool memories like from like learning Pokemon. I wouldn't say that's where like I learned competitive, but it was my introduction into the competitive spirit of Pokemon with my cousins that I played with. My favorite location is got to be Goldenrod City. I just when Johto came out and you could like listen to the radio, I was like, this is the coolest feature ever. And you know, just listening to the music on the radio, and then the whole like Goldenrod Tower Team Rocket takeover was so cool to my, you know, little third grade brain. And then Whitney's Miltank, you know, I had that same experience that a lot of people had, just getting wrecked by it the first time I went there. Like, how do you beat this thing? And just, you know, Goldenrod City, that's where it's at.
I love the
And
pick.
then my favorite Pokemon has got to be Ho-Oh. It was the first like really serious team that I built for competitive. You know, I did the usual thing, try to make Sapsip or Miltank be the best Pokemon in the world. But then, like when I built this Ho-Oh team, I got to top 20 in the world, and I was like, "Yo, I can actually do this," and that gave me the motivation to go to my first regional. And you know, I brought Ho-Oh to that one and didn't do great, but then in Ultra Series, I ended up top cutting. I believe it was Knoxville Regionals with Ho-Oh. So I was like, "Yo, this is the best Pokemon in the world." So definitely Ho-Oh. Just I get like Gen 2 is also really up there in my favorites, but Ho-Oh is the mascot of that, so that also stuck out to me too. Just that it was an old favorite and recently helped me do well in competitive, which is my new favorite Pokemon hobby.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diamond. And then I'll go with mine. So my favorite gen, I was like again thinking about it. I'm like I've probably played Gen 1 like 60 times, and that's like not really an exaggeration. Like I probably play through it like 5 times a year. So
That's how many times they've released Gen 1.
Yeah, I think you're about right there. And I love Gen 2. I love a lot of different gens, but I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of Michael a little bit. I think Gen 5 is for sure my favorite. I mean, it's just the best story, the region, everything about it. Like Gen 5, I felt like was like fully encompasses everything I ever wanted in a Pokemon game, in a Pokemon story, and the starters are cool. I love Superior, like all those. So that's for sure my favorite like game. My favorite location is definitely Slateport City. I love the music, like the ringing bells in like Slateport, the beach, the market. I love that. Like I when I was a kid, I always thought like, what cities don't have a gym that I could be the gym leader of? And I was like, I would be the Slateport gym leader. They don't got a gym. I love the market. I love the music. I love the beach there. And so I'm definitely a Slateport guy. And going
I
back to
love
something I
that
said,
answer.
oh, thank you, thank you, I appreciate it. And my favorite Pokemon, is Latias. And going back to like how there's no like mysteries today when you play Pokemon, running into Latias in the wild for the first time was like magical. I was like, that Pokemon is so awesome. I was playing Pokemon Emerald. I selected red because red's my favorite color. I'm just surfing around in Hoenn, probably doing something stupid like trying to, you know, figure out the Braille for the Reggies, and all of a sudden this Latias pops out, and that was really the last time I think I was ever surprised by something in a Pokemon game. And I love Latias' design. It's my favorite color. It's a cool Pokemon. Latias for sure takes the cake for me. So we had one more topic that we were gonna go over, but I feel like ending with some of our favorite things, our favorite things about Pokemon, favorite gens, all those kind of things. We talked a lot about the experiences that we've all had with Pokemon. Before I close things up, is there anything else that anyone wants to add? As we celebrate and reminisce about all these about these years of Pokemon, these 25 years.
Yeah, I have two things. One's a question to you.
Okay.
You said you'd be a gym leader in Slateport. What type?
Oh, this isn't even a hard question. I mean, obviously you haven't been watching my YouTube videos, otherwise you'd know. So thank you, Michael, for unveiling that. But 100%, I am a poison gym leader, and the reason for that is that I take, and I call it the Batman effect. I have had type 1 diabetes since I was 13 years old, and honestly, I hate diabetes. I hate everything about it, and so because I hate diabetes, I use poison types so that way I can infect everyone else. And that's why
Wow.
poison is my favorite type. It's kind of dark. It doesn't even match like Slateport's vibe at all, but I'm definitely a poison trainer. And poison is like a surprisingly diverse type, like in terms of like Pokemon that you can use. Like even in Gen 1, you can go like Nidoking, Venusaur, Tentacruel. Like you get some good side typing with poison. So that's for sure.
That
For
is
sure
good.
my type.
Yeah, that was deep.
The second thing I wanted to add was just something that I was thinking about, and if I don't say it, I'll be sad. Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii. That is another good memory I had because I had 1 ghost type in Dusknoir and 5 Pokemon that clicked Explosion. And that was my favorite competitive team of all time. I would just click Trick Room with Dusknoir, and then I would just keep clicking Explosion, because back then it halved your opponent's defense. So it was like Licky, explode. I think it was Bronzong, explode. You just explode. It was a good team. Pokemon's a good time.
I love that team. Is that your gym team then? You're not really a type. You're just like, we are the
I'm an explosion gym leader. Yeah, I just click explosion a lot, and it's just like, hopefully it's like new game mechanics where if we both lose both of our Pokemon at the same time, but I was the one that knocked you out with explosion, I win, and that's just my strategy. I don't have any other moves. I have 1 Pokemon with Trick Room and 5 Pokemon that only know explosion. They're just one button Pokemon.
The 1-button team.
Mm-hmm. It's like great. Norman's gym in Gen 3. There's like the 1-hit KO room. Yeah, that's me. I'm the explosion room.
All right. Anybody else? All right. I'll take that as a no. So I just want to thank everyone for checking out today's podcast video, and I hope that you all continue to enjoy and love Pokemon. I don't know if I'll be playing Pokemon in another 25 years, based on my maturity level and kind of how that's, seeing how I've progressed since I was a kid. I probably still will be, but I can assure you that you'll continue to enjoy Pokemon even more if you like, comment, and you subscribe to my channel. So I appreciate everyone's time, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope you all continue to love Pokemon. Later.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care. You're unaware.